Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope everyone's having a great day and you've had a great week so far. Um, what we're looking at is some interesting movement. You guys have heard me talk about this quite a bit, and that is the pre-summer movement. That move that tends to happen right around May, sometimes into June, sometimes earlier than May, but right around this time of year, we start to get some pretty big movements, and we're looking for that. And this is very common. Before it happens, we see a lot of chop, which we're definitely seeing. We're going to look at that in the charts in just a moment here. But a quick look: U.S. markets. Dow's just about to close here in a little more than a half hour. 22 points down on the Dow, 2 on the S&P. Oil has made a nice little spike there, about $2.35 today, so we'll keep that in mind. And gold's up just a little bit. So things to look at. We've got some bank holiday for Australia the rest of the day, so probably going to be a little tiny bit slower this afternoon, but we'll still have the Tokyo markets and so on to kind of keep things moving, so we should see some good activity later on today. Likewise, coming into tomorrow, we have the preliminary GDP numbers out of the UK. That'll probably be a pretty big mover, so keep an eye on that, especially if we have any pound dollar trades in the works. We have unemployment claims from the US, we have trade balance from New Zealand tomorrow, and then we have some Bank of Japan news, so we'll keep an eye on all of that stuff. The euro dollar, here it is. It's chopping around. It's been bouncing between 129.70 area and about 130.15. We've had this little spike down. This was the bad German IFO news that we had several hours ago, and it drove the euro down. But for some reason, the bargain shoppers were down here waiting for the euro around 129.50 and spiked right the heck back up to resistance here. This is an interesting setup that we have, and I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. Number one, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that everybody is talking about wanting to short the euro dollar, and myself 100% included. It seems like that's all anybody can think about is shorting the euro dollar, and we're going to talk about shorting the euro dollar. But I hope that that's not a bad omen, and that the bigger money's waiting. I hope the bigger money's not waiting there to strike and run this up and get everyone's stops, because when there's this much anticipation of a single direction, it can get a little bit lopsided and things get a little risky. But we're going to talk about shorting regardless. Even though this little move right here, this is very bullish. We had this run down, and the euro just doesn't seem to want to really make a significant move below 130. You know, we get these little tests and it bounces around 129, 70, 80, 90. We even hit as low as 129.50, and then it's right back up again. But we're going to try to short this, and we're going to scale into this trade a little bit. But a few things that I'm interested in here are these two levels right here. This is 130.85, and then we have 131. We're going to call this 131.30. It's about 131.28, but 130.85 and 131.30 are kind of two resistance levels. We start getting above that area, and the euro could very likely turn pretty bullish, and we could be making a run into 13200, 132.30, 13400, and so on. We could really be making some big runs there. So let's just keep an eye on that. So as long as we're below, this one is obviously our nearest and a very important level right here. This 130.85. This is the weekly high. It's a double top. There's a lot of good things going on here. So if we stay below that, I'm definitely staying bearish. If we get above this, I'm getting concerned that this is going to really start to go long, and then if we get above 130, 130, then we're headed up another 100 pips, probably at least beyond 130, 130. So just kind of keep that in mind. But interesting little bargain hunting kind of a situation there. So. Um, but we still have our head and shoulders pattern very much intact. We still have some missed lower targets here that the euro is going to want to get down to and kind of reach. We still have that head and shoulders pattern on that daily chart, the smaller one, and then we have this big one on the weekly chart. So everything still looks pretty good to hopefully continue down, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So again, initially, we'll be looking to probably short against this high and just see how that goes and see if the euro can stay below there. The one thing I do want to see is, a run up a little bit sooner than later. If this consolidates too much and stays above 130, then we could really be looking for a break. And so just keep that in mind. If it does consolidate too long, then we might actually be headed right for a break of this 130.80. I'd like to get this thing up there much sooner than later, or just get it right back below 130 to stay bearish on it. Pound dollar has been interesting. This pound dollar is still consolidating and bumping around the entire week. We've been in a 95 pip channel, and that's the highest and lowest point. Most of the movement has really been more like 60 pips, just hopping around, not really doing too much. I'm still looking for, remember on the pound dollar, we have that big hammer here on the monthly chart that still has me thinking that we're going to see a rally on this pair. Likewise, we have a big bullish engulfing candle on the weekly chart, and it's still kind of running and playing off of that. It's made a decent run from that area, but it's something to think about. And then on the daily chart, we still have this channel right here, and this channel is holding quite well. So we're right at the bottom of the channel, and either this channel is going to break and we're going to get a huge run down, or it's going to continue to hold. And that's kind of where we're just waiting. We just have to wait a little bit. So the levels to watch for here are 150-200 again, and as long as 150-200 holds, then I'm still bullish on the pair. 150-300 is another one to keep an eye on here. As long as we stay below that, then the chop continues above 150-300. I think we're ready to see a bigger rally into like 155.50, 15600, and so on. So we're keeping an eye on that. And again, if we look at the daily chart here, we can see that above 150-200, taking it straight up to the top of the channel is about 350 pips from current market price, straight to the top of that channel, or steadily up to the upper part of that channel is about 300 pips. Now, one interesting thing to keep an eye on here is if we get to the top of that channel, that is going to be the 200 moving average on the daily chart. So there's going to be a heck of a lot of resistance there, and we could see a big reversal happen there still. So that's what we're looking for. We're just keeping an eye on it. We just have to really wait for the break. Above 150-300, I'm bullish, and below 150-200, I'm bearish. And until it gets out of that area, I'm not really going to try to do a whole heck of a lot. The one thing that I will attempt to do here is I'll be looking for an opportunity to maybe buy on the dip. If we can get down to 152. 15, 20 area, I'll buy on that dip against this low right here. But that's kind of about it. And I kind of doubt we're going to see much in the way of that. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm looking for there. Aussie dollar is getting very, very choppy, but it seems to be holding, kind of well. We had a nice trade from this yesterday. We grabbed a quick 30 pips out of it as we bought on the dip here, and it ran up, but it still is very, very choppy. And we've got a nice little channel in here. I think that, a couple things that I'd be looking for is buying somewhere off the dip into 10200, and I'm possibly looking at shorting somewhere around 10300 even, and just getting, we have all this resistance, the weekly pivot, the 200 moving average, top of the channel, all of that stuff is what I'm looking for here. So I want to see how this movement plays out and just kind of how everything goes. You can see that it's kind of a messy look there. So not really doing too much except for waiting to buy the dip towards 10200, sell the rally, top of the channel potentially. But I'll have some more images coming out on Twitter, and I'll describe this a little bit more. But right now, I'm staying out of the Aussie. Nothing too steady looking there. The other pairs are a little choppy. Yen pairs are chopping around. We're going to be looking at some big movements on the yen pairs as we go into the pre-summer movement. So I'm excited about that. We should have some nice pips to be had there. So we will take it from there. Best of luck, everybody, and I will see you in the chat. Remember, you can go to daytradersfx.com and get a free trial and join us in our trade room. Thanks, everyone. Take care.